ever held in this town.
I figure to make at least 80 cents on it.
Is the garden all cleaned up for the wedding?
It's simply arboreal and everything.
Randolph Foster reporting on the general chaos.
What's wrong?
Oh, nothing much. Mother's practically hysterical. Aunt Lily isn't sure what's flying. Mr. Manchester's struggling into a wing collar. The guests will arrive any minute, and it looks like rain.
Now, don't worry about the rain. It's the silliest thing I ever heard of.
You might tell that to the clouds.
Randolph, have the bridesmaids come yet?
No, but the best man has.
He has? What does he look like, Randolph?
He's indescribable. We're going to have quite a tussle writing him up.
Where is he? I want to meet him.
He's in the house, pacing up and down, carrying a violin case.
A violin case?
He said he brought it with him in case anybody wanted him to play I Love You Truly.
That's a wonderful idea. Come on, let's go in and meet him.
I wonder what he's going to wear to the wedding.
Did he bring white tie and tails, Randolph?
No, but he brought his violin.
How's that going to sound in the Chronicle? My goodness, the best man wore a violin. Gee, I don't see why people can't cooperate.
Well, there he is. Mr. Oliver, this is my sister and her friend Mitzi.
How do you do?
Gee, he isn't any Cary Grant, is he?
A lady, what has Cary Grant got that I haven't got?
Well, for one thing, a chin.
Very funny. Very funny remark.
Mr. Oliver, are you acquainted with the duties of a best man?
Well, I guess what I do is kind of stand beside the groom and catch him if he faints and stuff.
Mr. Oliver, this is very serious, being a best man. I hope you won't take your duties too lightly.
Well, how can he? He's going to be a mighty busy man. He's not only got to hand the groom the ring, but play I Love You Truly, too. Well, looks like somebody's here already. How do you do?
Oh, how do you do? I'm Velma Teasdale.
Oh, one of the bridesmaids. Come right in.
Are you the one who phoned and invited me?
Yes, I am.
Well, I think it was wonderful of Donnie to want me at his wedding. Donnie and I used to be that way.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm so glad you were able to come. I think your gown is lovely.
Oh, there's only one question I have.
Yes?
How'd she hook him?
Well, I couldn't say.
I'd love to get a squint at her.
Well, she's upstairs dressing right now.
I think I better tune my fiddle.
Oh, Mr. Oliver. This is Miss Teasdale. He's the best man, Miss Teasdale.
How do you do?
Hello.
I feel the same way about him.
Judy, come up here.
Oh, excuse me. The bride wants me.
Do you mind if I tag along? This is the most fascinating day. I don't want to miss a bit of it.
I'm coming, too.
You play the violin, I see. I love talented geniuses.
What do you suppose Aunt Lily wants, Randolph?
She wants to get married. I, however, am laying odds.
Oh, be quiet, Randolph.
Oh, there you are, Judy. Your mother tells me that you plan the wedding in the garden.
Why, of course.
But I don't want it in the garden. I just want a simple, quiet wedding in the living room. And it seems to me Aunt Lily ought to have her way about something.
But she's got to have it in the garden. Today's Chronicle says it's in the garden.
6 inches says it's in the garden.
But the Chronicle also says it's going to rain. And I don't want to have a wet wedding.
Now listen, Aunt Lily. I know the weatherman at the newspaper, and he's very unreliable. Every time he says it's going to rain, it's all sunshiny and everything.
Judy Foster, come here to the window.
Why, what's wrong, Mother?
Who are those ladies in the garden? I don't know them.
Oh, I know them.
Well, what are they fighting about right in front of everybody, too?
They're the bridesmaids.
Judy, did you invite bridesmaids after all Aunt Lily and Mr. Manchester said about having a simple family wedding?
Well, Mother, at the Waterman Brewer wedding, they...
Haven't you done enough? Aunt Lily had to let out all the seams in that wedding dress you bought for her with heaven knows whose money. Poor thing having to sew on her wedding day. And Mr. Manchester's practically crying.
Crying?
That tailcoat is so tight it hurts him.
But, Mother, it was the best one Sam and Joe had in the whole swap shop.
Judy, will you please attend to those bridesmaids? A fine thing at a wedding, where everything is supposed to be sweetness and light, to have a bunch of women fighting.
I wonder what they're fighting about.
I haven't the slightest idea. I also haven't the slightest idea where you got them.
You'd be simply fascinated if you knew.
Now, please, Judy, don't complicate this wedding anymore. I'm having troubles enough with Grandma.
What's wrong with her?
Well, I knew she was going to cry at the wedding, but I didn't think she was going to start an hour beforehand.
Maybe she and Mr. Manchester ought to get together.
Judy, are you going to quiet those bridesmaids or aren't you?
Oh, all right. Come on, Randolph.
Okay.
My goodness. I have to do everything. It's a good thing I'm capable. It isn't every Aunt Lily who has an assistant society editor to arrange a wedding for her. Hey, I just thought of something. Who's going to give the bride away?
Nobody, I hope. She's 34, you know.
Judy! Oh, Judy!
Oh, Mr. Manchester. Why, you look positively handsome.
I feel like a penguin with these tails. This wing collar keeps flapping back and forth like a windmill.
Stop worrying. This is going to be the most wonderful wedding I ever gave.
But I don't want you to give me a wonderful wedding. I just want to get married.
Oh, we'll throw that in, too.
All I ask is a teeny-weeny favor. Give me back my blue serge suit.
We can't until after the wedding.
Unless you want to get married in your underwear.
I like that blue serge suit. I want to wear it. I'm personally attached to it.
Well, at present, Sam and Joe's swap shop is personally attached to it.
Don't worry, Mr. Manchester. You can swap it back right after the wedding.
Oh.
Would you care to accompany us to the garden, Mr. Manchester? We're going to see the bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids? Do I know them?
Why, you'll just be surprised how well you know him.
He liked me better than he liked you, and I don't care what you say.
Is that so?
Oh, my
He
goodness.
never gave you a poodle dog.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's better.
Oh, that's Edith. Edith Kroll.
I wonder what archive she came from.
Oh, what's she doing here? And Velma Teasdale. Oh, my word.
I went with him 3 years ago, last May, June, and July.
Oh, dear.
May, June, and July, you couldn't have. That's when I was going with her. Oh, no.
Gee, I think they're fighting over you, Uncle Donald.
Randolph, Judy, does Lily know who the bridesmaids are?
Not exactly.
We didn't say a word about them, except that we found their telephone numbers in your little black book.
Oh, dear, this is awful. Awful.
He had a terrific crush on me. Well, for the love of Pete. Look, there he is.
Oh, dear.
Donald, you liked me better than you liked Edith, now didn't you? Oh, that isn't true. He had a bigger crush on me, didn't you, Donald?
Oh, my.
Crush on you, Edith Kroll. I'll crush you, you two-timer, you.
Ladies, please, the ceremony's about to begin.
I don't care. She stole Donnie away from me. She stole him away from me.
Oh, my goodness.
Ladies.
She's no lady.
And to think that in May, June, and July of 1939, I lived in a beautiful pipe dream.
You stole Donnie away from me and...
Oh, look, ladies, what difference does it make? He's marrying somebody else.
Oh, my. Oh, here comes Lily.
Now, quiet, everybody. Here comes the bride.
Well, I don't care. He did like me best.
Oh, yes, Donald didn't even know that you were alive, did you, Donald?
Oh, hello. Oh, Lily.
What's all this about? Oh, are these the bridesmaids?
Donald was in love with me.
He was in love with me.
Oh, Donald.
Now, don't pay any attention, Lily. It doesn't mean a thing.
Oh, how could you? You told me I was the first woman you'd ever loved. And all of a sudden, here are two more.
But Lily,
How many others were there, Donald?
Lily, listen to me. It was only puppy love. I was very young then, still in my early 30s.
You're a Casanova, that's all.
Lily, please.
Aunt Lily, don't be mad at Uncle Donald.
Don't call him Uncle Donald.
But Uncle Donald went with these girls years ago. Eons before he knew you.
Did you love them, Donald?
Of course not, Lily.
Well, he gave me a poodle.
And me a fox terrier.
Puppy love is right.
Lily, I love you. I've never loved anybody else. Now, please believe me. Let's get the wedding started.
All right, Donald. I believe you.
Oh, that's wonderful, Aunt Lily. Mr. Oliver, strike up the fiddle. Mr. Manchester, get down there by the minister, quick.
Oh, my.
And now, Aunt Lily, start walking slowly.
The bride looks just lovely, doesn't she? For her.
I knew this was going to be the most wonderful wedding the Chronicle ever had on its society page.
Oh, for the love of heaven, it's beginning to pour.
Now, ignore the rain, everybody. We've got to get married.
Donald, how can we? My wedding dress, it'll be ruined. Now, look, maybe we better all go in the house.
What'll I do with my violin?
Sound retreat!
I can't. My violin's full of water.
Oh, this tailcoat's beginning to shrink. It's crawling up on me.
Choking to death! Come on, everybody, into the house!
Oh, yes, into the house.
Oh, this beautiful, beautiful wedding.
I'm all wet. This is what comes of Grandma crying so much.
Now, we can all get together in the living room. And don't worry about tracking up the carpet.
Somebody slip me out of this His corset.
Oh, dear. Now he'll have to get married in his shirt sleeves.
Mr. Oliver, as soon as everybody rings themselves out, you can start to play the wedding march again.
No, I can't, ma'am. My fiddle's flooded. My beautiful, beautiful fiddle.
Oh, but it was only a cheap violin, wasn't it, Mr. Oliver?
I loved it like it was a Stradivarius.
Oh, for heaven's sake, let's get this over with before my tailcoat disappears entirely. Reverend, start the ceremony, please.
Mr. Manchester, I have the most appalling news. The pages of my little book got all stuck together in the rain.
Oh, dear. Well, can't you remember how the service goes?
I can try. Will you stand here, Miss Rogan? And you here, Mr. Manchester.
Oh, no.
What's that?
At the Waterman Brewer nuptials, the bride stood there and the groom stood there.
This is the last straw. I don't give a hoot where they stood at the Waterman Brewer nuptials. All I want to do is get married.
But I was just trying
Judy
to get...
Foster, you come here.
Mr. Manchester, what are you going to do?
Up until now, I've been a quiet man who has never put his hand to a woman. But I can restrain myself no longer.
Oh, no. Don't do that, Mr. Manchester.
You can call me Uncle now. And bend over, please.
Oh, Uncle Donald.
Wowie! He's spanking her.
Good. She's needed it for years.
I never thought it was in him. This is the end.
That's right, Randolph. That's exactly where I'm aiming.
And now I'd like to tell you all about something that's...
Mr. Keating, we have something terribly important to tell you.
Well, hold it just a minute, Judy. There are a couple of things I have to do first. Then we can talk.
Well, this is quite a monumental declaration on Judy's part, Mr. Keating.
Okay, kids, I'll be with you right away. But first, I'd like to say this. High school kids and that nice old lady next door, pretty girls and hard-boiled businessmen, they all have told us how much they like the Pepsodent 50 Tough toothbrush. High school kids like it because the nylon bristles keep their pep. Don't get flabby and go blah on the teeth. That nice old lady likes it because it's gentle as well as efficient. Doesn't scratch tender gums. Pretty girls like it because it ensures that attractive smile. And businessmen like the Pepsodent brush because from every angle, it's a swell buy. Super efficient, thanks to those 50 tufts of nylon bristles. Twice as many tufts as any other brush having a small, compact head. And there's a Pepsodent bonus with every brush. In every package, a cash certificate worth 10 cents extra spending money. So please everybody at your house. Get a Pepsodent 50 Tough toothbrush for each member of your family when you go to your drug counter tonight.
Now, Mr. Keating?
Now?
Okay, Judy and Randolph, what's on your mind?
Well, the fact is, Mr. Keating...
For the first time in her life, Judy wants to refuse a date.
Huh?
Yeah, there's a young chap you may have heard of who's sort of taking over starting next Tuesday.
I can't accept the date because I want to stay home and listen to him on the radio.
His name's Hope. Bob Hope. Likeable chap. I predict he'll go far.
Yes. You see, he's coming on the air as, well, sort of winter replacement for our program.
And so next Tuesday night, with Pepsodent as chaperone, we all have a date with Bob Hope. And the whole gang, Francis Langford, Jerry Colonna, Skinny Ennis, and Vera Vague.
That's right. Isn't that super?
That's right, kids. Super is the word. Next week, Bob Hope. Judy and Randolph, we think you've been super. So long for a while. A Date with Judy, with Deli Ellis, Dix Davis, B. Benaderet, and Louise Erickson, is written by Aline Leslie and Jerome Lawrence. Original music by Gordon Jenkins. This is Larry Keating speaking for Pepsodent, inviting you to listen next week to Bob Hope. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
KFI, Los Angeles, Earl C. Anthony, Incorporated.